Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are having fun with the Tailored Expressions Create in Quads Halloween set. This is a new set for 2022, and when I saw it I had to have it because I love Halloween and I am in love with all of the Create in Quad stencils. This is such a great way to create 4 cards at once. These are A2 size cards, and once you're done ink blending the panel, you literally have 4 finished card backgrounds, which are super easy to decorate. This particular set has 2 of the areas that have images that have coordinating dies. One of them is a kitty cat with a little witch's hat on, and then there's also a witch's cauldron with a witch's legs sticking out. She's fallen into her cauldron. So I am just ink blending these backgrounds. I am using some Pink Fresh Studio inks for these. The orange is Clementine. And what I'm doing is I'm just going in and adding in a base layer. And then where possible, I think I did in a couple areas like on the pumpkins, I used some of the ripe persimmon just on the very outer edges to darken that up. And you can see I'm doing that here with the bows. These are the bows on the back of the witch's, or on the front of the witch's shoes. So I'm just going in with a little bit of ripe persimmon and just adding a little bit more dimension to those. So for my next layer, I believe this is the green layer. And I started out, nope, sorry. This is the cauldron layer. So the cauldron and the kitty are actually colored with Stargazer ink from Pink Fresh Studios. This is a beautiful, rich blue, like dark navy ink color. And so I thought it would be perfect for these cards. I really think that this Stargazer ink is one of my most favorites. It is such a gorgeous, deep royal blue color, and it is perfect for these Halloween stencils. I did go back with a little bit of detail black ink on those and just darken up around the edges, excuse me, just to give it a bit of depth. And so I'm going to go ahead and continue inking up this layer. These are the bats, obviously. I think with these I did go back in and I added more detail black ink. Yes, I did. The bats look kind of weird in blue. Not that you couldn't have blue bats, but they did look a little strange. So I did go back in and add a little bit of dark black ink to that. And these little detail blending brushes that I'm using, I believe Altenew carries these. I did purchase mine off of Amazon. And I love them for doing exactly this kind of thing where you have a detail area that you're trying to get into. These detail brushes are perfect for that. So here I'm going to ink up the geometric section of the stencil, and I am using just the detail black ink on this. Although it would have been very pretty with the Stargazer as well. So now that that layer is done, you can kind of see how that looks. And our last layer, I believe, is the purple layer. Yes, this is the purple layer. So for this, I am using lavender Pink Fresh Studio ink. And I'm going to go in with a pretty heavy hand over the witch's hat. Sorry, this is not our last layer. We do have one more layer after this, I believe. And then the witch's leggings. And then there's some purple stars over here in this quadrant. And then, of course, the purple on the geometric pattern. So these really do come together very quickly, very easily. And you certainly wouldn't have to use Halloween colors. You could do something totally different. But the dye inks from Pink Fresh seem to work best. I did try this out with distress inks, and for some reason on the cauldron and the witch, or the cauldron and the kitty, the black ink bled a little bit, which I have not had happen with distress inks. I don't know if that's just something with trying to stencil with them or what. So there's a look at my finished background. I'm going to go clean off my stencil real quick, and then I'm going to come back And on this last layer with the green, I'm going to use some Nouveau Moonstone glitter paste over it. And the glitter paste is, it's sort of an iridescent, but it's mostly clear. So my green layer will show through and you'll still see the green, but it'll have a really nice iridescent sparkle. So I'm going to use a palette knife here and just put that on a real thin layer. It does dry fairly quickly. I think it dried probably within the hour. And I'm just being careful to get that in all the areas here. And I am being a little generous, but trying not to get it on everything. I got it on my rubber craft mat. So I had to wash everything when I was done. And then I think the coolest thing is how it looks over the kitty cat's eyes. So it looks really, really awesome. Really gives it a sort of spooky feel to it. I'm going to scoop up any excess and just put it back in my jar. And then I can reuse that later. And I did use a piece of Glad Press and Seal over my Nouveau paste just to keep it so it doesn't dry out. And I'm going to go quickly wash this with some hot soapy water and set that aside to dry. And wash my mat too. So here you can kind of see a little bit how it looks once it's dry. And for the kitty cat eyes, I did go back in with a black pen and I kind of just used a little bit of black pen and kind of tried to draw over where the cat's eyes were so you could see them a little bit better. For all of my cards today, I am using the Tailored Expression Simple Strips Halloween Sentiments and Simple Strips Backers and Simple Strips Die. So these basically, you can stamp, I think it's 18 sentiments, and these were Halloween sentiments, stamp 18 sentiments all at once. And then I heat emboss them with some white detail embossing powder. And then I cut them out using the coordinating Simple Strips die. And then I also cut backers for each of those sentiment strips using the Simple Strip backer. And I cut those backers out of purple glitter cardstock and black glitter cardstock. These are really great when you want to mass produce cards because you can pop out 18 sentiments at once. You don't have to worry about stopping, finding a sentiment, stamping or heat embossing. It's all there, all done all at once. And then anything that you don't use, there's a really great storage container that Tailored Expression sells called the Simple Strip Storage. Simple storage for simple strips is what it's called. And you can store all of your unused sentiment strips in there and save them for later. I know a lot of people do a separate container for each different type of simple strips they have. I just throw all mine in one and it's super easy. But you can get different ones because they have several different brands of simple strips. So I'm going to pair these up with some of the backers and then figure out which sentiment strips I want to use for my cards. And you can see my Witch's Cauldron off to the side there. I don't have it assembled yet. I have it ready to go. The Boo sentiment is also from Tailored Expressions. That was new for 2022. And I did the backer. I used some toner foil in shattered glass from Decofoil. And then I cut several layers of that to build it up. And then I believe I just used a black glitter cardstock to cut the BOO and glued that down to it. So I'm going to use the You're Fabulous sentiment with this. And I have my, the background is from the Wonky rectangles from Pretty Pink Posh. And I am just gluing those to a black piece of A2 size cardstock. And then my little geometric stencil background will fit right inside that frame. I did go around the edge of the frame with a black Copic marker just because I realized when you put it inside the frame I could see the white edges of the white cardstock that I use. So this will hide that nicely. I'm just going to put some Barely Arts liquid glue on this here and then pop it into my frame. And then I can add my Wonky rectangle and my little Witch's Cauldron on top of that. It looks amazing. I love how that glitter looks on there. Oh my goodness. So for my geometric background, I am using, this is Tonic Studios. I believe this is the purple gloss mirror cardstock. And I have cut my background down, and I am using a little Spiderweb and Spider from Pretty Pink Posh. I believe these were new for 2022. And I use my little Boo sentiment again, and then a piece of DMC embroidery floss in silver to create the spider web. And I'm just going to put my little spider on a piece of dimensional foam. I was trying to move him because I got him a little off center, and then realized I wasn't going to be able to move him, so I just glued him back down. And I like the spider web because it is a full circle spider web from Pretty Pink Posh, but you can cut it down to fit, you know, the corner of your card, or if you want to do a half of a spider web or whatever you want to do. It's a little versatile. And so for this one, I'm going to use the Merry Scary Season sentiment. Just getting that positioned, and then I will glue everything down. A little bit more liquid glue. On all of my Boo sentiments, I did add a lot of extra layers to the back of them, just to give them a bit more dimension so that they didn't kind of get lost. I wanted them to stand out from the background. And so adding the extra die cut layers, I just die cut from some scrap cardstock and just added those, and that's really, it looks really good. I love that little spider. He's so cute. And I don't say that about spiders. But a black glitter spider with orange eyes and mouth is cute. So 2 of my cards down. This is, on this one I'm going to use the little, I call them action wobblers. I believe Tailored Expressions calls them, what are they called? They're called mini wobble springs. And I just used 2 of those on my little cauldron. And I have cut my little pumpkin background down. And I used a older die set from MFT Stamps. This is one of the Dynamics sets, and I don't believe they carry it any longer. But there are a couple of different die sets that you could use that would be very similar. I will link those in the description box below this video if you're interested. And then for my little action wobblers, I felt like I needed 2 because I felt like it was a little off with one. It like kind of listed to one direction. So I used 2. It probably doesn't wobble as much as I would like it to, but I added those, and then I did put a little bit of liquid glue just to make sure they were going to stay. And here again, I'm going to use the Boo sentiment. This time I used the Tonic Studios Purple Mist Satin Mirror cardstock. And I cut that Boo backer from that, and then I used some green glitter cardstock for the actual Boo sentiment. And I'm going to pop that right up on my cauldron with a little bit of liquid glue. I think the cauldron is just the cutest thing with those green bubbles coming out of it. And then I'm going to add a few, very few, purple sequins to this card front. And for my background, I did use a piece of vellum over that just to kind of tone it down a little bit, because without the vellum, the background was very vibrant and bright, and I felt like it needed to be toned down a little bit. So I did cut a piece of vellum and put over that. And then I used the sentiment strip You're Spooktacular for this one. Just adding some sequins. I have a problem with sequins. They stick together, and I glue them to my card, and then I go to move my embellishment wand, and like it comes up because it was stuck, like there's 2 or 3 sequins stuck together. Always freaks me out. And so for my last card, I used a this is a toner sheet, and I don't remember what company I purchased this from. I believe it was a company that was going out of business. I just used some deco foil and foiled this background. And then I'm going to I cut it down with the Wonky rectangle frames and the Wonky rectangle die. And I put a piece of vellum over that as well to tone it down because the green foil was very bright. And then I'm adding a purple glitter frame to that. And I am going to put my little kitty cat with the eyes, with my sparkly green eyes on this. And I thought that I kind of felt like the background for this worked well with the kitty. So it was a lot of fun too. The green just kind of makes the green cat eyes pop. And then of course the purple. Can you tell what my favorite color is? It might be purple. I love purple. So here I am just assembling my card. I originally was going to do this portrait style, and then I just didn't feel like it worked out very well. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this on landscape, adding a little bit of dimensional foam to this. And the pumpkins are from the Tailored Expressions Layered Pumpkins set. And then I use the, what is the stencil called? Sorry, my reference. They are called the Layered Pumpkins, and the stencil that I used to create the little face on the smaller pumpkin is called the Jack-o'-lantern stencil, and it has all kinds of pumpkin faces on it, and you can use it for stenciling over your pumpkins. And for these, I didn't use the layers on these. I just used my Copic markers and colored the pumpkins with my Copics, and then I'm just popping them on the card here with a little bit of dimensional foam. Then I'm going to add a little bit more dimensional foam to my kitty. Get these put in place. And then on this one, I couldn't decide where to put my sentiment. I have my Happy Meowloween, which I had originally thought I was going to put on the card front, but decided that I didn't want to. So I ended up putting it inside. But I have another one of those Boo sentiments, and again, I use the Shattered Glass deco foil for this, and I just used Tailored Expressions has some Foil-It Spiderweb. They're pre-printed sheets that you can use deco foil on, and so I did that, and this is the negative image of that I have used with the Shattered Glass foil, and then I just glued the Boo on top of it, and it really sparkles in person. It's gorgeous in person. It's a lot of fun. And I still have all my other Foil-It backgrounds, the original backgrounds, which is just a spider web. I'm going to pop this up onto a black A2 size card base. And I think I used a little bit of dimensional foam on this as well. And then I had some Halloween sequins, and I don't know where these came from. I think they might have been a free gift with purchase somewhere. So I had a little bat and a couple of ghosts, and then some little sparkly stars, and I just put those on the front of this card. And I considered using the Happy Halloween up in the upper right hand corner, but decided not to do that. So here I am going to, I believe, add my sentiment to the inside of my card. It's so cute and so sparkly. I love it. I love how it turned out. So cute. And then I'll just use my T-ruler here to get this sentiment on there straight. Use my tweezers and a little bit of glue. Just glue that down. It's the perfect sentiment for this kitty cat. So cute. I love how it turned out. And there is a look at all 4 of my cards. The Tailored Expressions Create in Quads Halloween set is awesome. I highly recommend it. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you're inspired to go and create a few Halloween cards this week, and hope you all have a happy Halloween. Thanks so much for stopping by.